I'm loath to just roll by Italy, France. Italy at home, and this was a 13-all draw last year. You remember the conversion, the ball fell off the tee and the rush to get it and all that drama. And then England, Scotland, obviously the Calcutta Cup has been very much in Scotland's favour for the last number of years now. So that's Saturday 4:45. Italy, France is the Sunday 3 o'clock game. Give us a word on both each year. Rory, you get the ball rolling.
Yeah, I think Italy will fancy this because France, there's a kind of an expectation that France will bounce back, but they haven't named their team yet. But there's a lot of rumours that Pinot's getting dropped and they're going to go 7-1. There is. This is a France team that was damaged by the World Cup, and that damage seeped into last year, and they didn't really perform. And Twickenham, that was a pretty damaging performance if you think about it.
Strange performance.
Yeah, it was careless. Yeah. And it didn't speak to a team that's fully tuned in. And if they're not tuned in against a very well organised and a very good, in my opinion, Italy team, not at the level of the Ireland, France, South Africa, New Zealand, maybe England when they're at their peak, but like they're a well organised team that's getting used to winning and who don't really fear France in the way that they fear Ireland, because they never come close to beating Ireland really, but they've been much better against France in recent years. They're at home. They've just beaten Wales. They'll fancy this, and I think they'll play a very limited game plan. They'll look to put France in corners and try and squeeze them a little bit, and then produce a moment of magic like they did against Wales. I'm not saying they win, because if France, as Eddie's point earlier on, if France turn up and play well, they have the best player in the world. They have an incredible forward pack. They have all the tools you need. But I think Italy can make this a very uncomfortable afternoon, and if France are off it, Italy can beat them. And the Calcutta Cup, I can't see any way Scotland beat England. But then I probably said the same thing last year and the year before. I just think England have a stronger collection of players. They have lost a lot of narrow games, but I know they screw up this fixture routinely, but I don't see how they do it 5 times in a row. And they're at home. They are a better team. They have more weapons, and they finally settled on the 10 they should have settled on a little while ago in Finn Smith. So
Marcus at 15 again.
Yeah, and Finn Russell hasn't played well. He's missed a lot of training the last 2 weeks. Scotland did go to Spain, strangely enough, this week and do a warm weather training camp, so that maybe just gave them that change of scenery, might have lifted their spirits after the Ireland game, but they were so insipid against Ireland. They always play well in this game, but I can't see them having enough to beat England in Twickenham this time around.
Yeah. Eddie, final word?
I suppose for me, the France-Italy game, I don't see France losing. I think they could actually win comfortably if they played a par. I mean, they were just dreadful in Twickenham. They wasted opportunity after opportunity, and you just felt like those games where you have a chance to, it's like a boxing. You have a chance to put the guy down 3 or 4 times, and you fluff it, and then you get caught in the end with a punch. So they really still their own defeat. But I think the bigger picture, there's some clouds gathering in France around the French team. The World Cup didn't work out from, you could say unfairly, but it didn't. They were underwhelming last year's championship. This year, they've already again got caught again. So, there's a bit of swirling around. And I thought it was, to me, one of the worst substitutions of the championship was when they moved Dupont to 10.
Yeah.
In the game. I mean, we didn't talk much about that, but I just couldn't see the logic, taking the most influential player on the field further away from the action. The guy who was likely to make something happen in a game was slipping away because they had wasted so many opportunities. So there's a little uneasiness around that French team at the moment, which could get them. But if they were to lose to Italy, there'd be a full blown crisis coming to Dublin. And just remember the last time they came to Dublin, they didn't raise a flag. They were awful. So they're in a funny place, France. There's a lot of pressure on him. I think Jalabert is out now, so I presume Ramos will probably maybe feature there. I think they are not in a great place, France, and they are vulnerable. I still think Italy have the horses, and I do think the one thing I worry about Italy is their defence was really bad against Scotland. Scotland's 2 second-half tries with defence,
yeah.
Against a team like France, because if you're anything like that, you're going to get slaughtered. So I just think France pretty comfortably, or else we have a crisis in France. Calcutta Cup is massive for both teams. Like if England win, well, I put it this way, if England lose this, they're back in the doldrums again. They've, it was a flash in the pan in their last victory, and that's where they've been. They've been flash in the pan for the last while. So if they could double down with this now and put the Calcutta hoodoo to bed, it would be another, notch in their gun. And if Scotland lose this, then they're going to the last game against France, and it could be another disastrous Six Nations for Scotland, on the back of every year is their year. So this is a massive clash for both teams. Kind of defines their championship. Hard to see. I agree with Rory. Scotland are loaded up and they're on their game. They could really cause England problems, but I just think England will, just the horses they have. They're a very physical team. They could manhandle Scotland out of this one, but I wouldn't like to call it. I just think it go still.
Interesting. Okay. Well, that sounds like a good weekend, fellas. Thank you very much.